Hi, everyone. Lori Rubenstein, and I am so excited to share the power of connecting with your spirit guides with you. A couple, I guess it's been about a month ago, I was standing at my kitchen sink looking out of the window at our beautiful view, and I was just standing in gratitude of how grateful I was for all the support that I have on the other side. And I was thanking my guides, and I was just thinking if everybody knew how much support that they had on the other side and was able to utilize that support, we would live in a very different world. And as I thought that, I heard from my guides, well, then teach it. So that is how this course came to be. I decided to teach it and I wanted to offer it as a just a free training class for you. So welcome. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time and your energy to be with me here today. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And my hope is that you really get something valuable out of this that you're able to use and connect because I will tell you, I it totally changed my life when I really connected in. I stopped blocking my gifts, and everybody has this ability. And it doesn't it's not you're learning something new. It's more about your awakening and remembering something you already know how to do. You came in knowing how to do this. So I want to start with just a quick little centering to get you in the space and present. So if you'll just close your eyes for a minute, and I want you to take 3 deep breaths. So you're going to breathe in for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhale from your mouth. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Good. Now, keeping your eyes closed, I just want you to set an intention to welcome in your guides today as part of this class. And then take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, release any tension and bring yourself present. Awesome. So that feels better. So let's get started. So I want to reassure you that connecting with your guides is natural and it's accessible to everybody. You don't have to meditate for days or hours to be able to connect with your guides. You came in knowing how to do this. And in some ways, you might already be doing it and you don't even know it because it's not intentional. It's an unconscious thing that's happening. So it's as easy as talking to a good friend. So I want you to keep that in mind when you're going through this and make this fun. I mean, let's talk about what are spirit guides. So, spirit guides can be angels, they can be loved ones who've crossed over, they can be ancestors, they can be energies that are coming in to support and help, they can be masters. There's a lot of different forms guides come in as, and it really depends on everybody has one main spirit guide that are with them their whole life. They're their guardian angel, so to speak. And but we all have a lot of different guides that come in and out as we need them throughout our life. So you can be working with a lot of different guides. And the guides come in and they provide wisdom, they provide guidance, they provide support on your journey. They're here to help us stay aligned with why we came in this lifetime, what we wanted to learn, our blueprint. We all come in with this blueprint of what we want to experience, what we want to learn, and what we want to accomplish during this lifetime. And they help us do that. And they're here for that. And we can call in guides for different things and different teams. And when you're working with your guides, guides are light, they're love. When you're working with those that are on the other side, it's all from the heart. The heart is the seat of your soul. It's the voice of your soul when you can really sit in your heart. And we're so trained to be in our heads. And we think and think and think and think all the time. And I could spend a lot of time in my head. And I have to just stop for a minute and drop into my heart and get used to being in my heart. And that's a practice. And that's something I've been practicing for years of really being able to stay in my heart. And it's not all the time. I pop out pretty easily, but it's about remembering when you start repetitive things that are happening and you start going over and over and over things in your head, remember to drop into your heart. Connect with your soul by dropping into your heart, your higher self. That's on the part of you that's on the other side. And when you work with the other side, our guides are light, they're love, they carry no fear. So if think you're getting information and it's scary or it's fear-based, that is not coming from your guides on the other side because there is no fear. It is only love and light coming in from the other side, your guidance. So remember that because sometimes we can grab onto what's in the collective consciousness. And right now, there is a lot of fear in the collective consciousness. So we want to be careful and aware of where our attention is going because energy flows where our attention, no, I've got it back. I always get this backward. Attention, no, I got it right. Attention goes where energy, no, energy flows where attention goes. That's it. So you don't want all your energy flowing towards fear or something you don't want in your life. You want it going towards what you want to create in your life. And our guides are here to support that. So I just want to make that really clear because they'll never instill fear. So it's really important to know that. So why connect with your spirit guides? Why does that matter? And it matters because they help support us. They're there to guide us on our path, on our journeys here. And we can call on a lot of different guides or teams to support us. And there's so much guidance for you on the other side. The key is, and some of the benefit is, this is how we receive divine guidance and clarity and confidence and aligning on your path and catching it when we veer off path. And we veer off path. I do it more than I'd like to admit. But there's always a sign that directs me, and we'll talk about this a little bit later in this course. There's always something that directs me back. And I'm going to be giving you some really tangible things that you can play with when you're connecting with your guides. Connecting with your guides gives you the space to connect more deeply into your heart, understanding that we are part of a greater connection, that we are all part of one. We're all interconnected. And we can see that just right now with everything that's going on in the world. And, it's getting smaller and smaller because we've got the internet and social media and platforms where you can connect all over the world. But we are all one. We all interact together and are connected. And when we drop into our heart, it gives us more space for that connection. And your guides are always around you and available to you. Sitting here right now, listening to this course, there were some nudges and hints that drew you to come into this course, to sign up, to receive this video. And as you're in this course, they're around you. They're always around us. So never think, when you really begin to connect and you get better at recognizing the signs that they're giving us, you're never alone. You're never alone here. And one of the key things that you have to do to connect is invite them in. Because we all have free will, and your guides honor free will. So they may send nudges and, try to get your attention, but they can't interfere with free will. So it's really important that we invite them in. And I wake up every morning and invite my team in. And I invite them in to guide me and into the highest service for the work that wants to come through me every morning. And as I go through my day, depending on what I'm doing, I call on certain teams to help me with a project. I called on, before I wrote this course, I called on my team to help bring this through, bring the work through that wants to come through me to you. And it's simple. It's just inviting them in. And then they can, once you invite them in, then they can begin sending you more signs. They can have a stronger presence in your life. They can direct you more. The guidance is better. The support is better. It's all better because you have gifted them, because they want to help. They want to support you. That's what they're here for. And you've gifted them access for them to really come in and help you. And you don't have to worry about not all guides have names. And I know I used to get really hung up with, I don't know their name. What is their name? Some people know their names. And for me, every now and then I'll get a name, but most of the time I just name them so that I know who I'm talking to, because I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, and clairsentient. So I see, hear, and feel what's on the other side, and it comes in very differently for me. Everybody has these abilities at different levels, but everybody has clairsentient, that knowing. And it may show up for you as this gut feeling or this thought that just pops into your head. So you already have this ability, you're already using it, but now we're going to be more intentional about it and more aware of it so that you can really utilize this guidance that you're getting from the other side. And some of the guides are energies. They don't have a name, but they're energies that are helping you move or heal or calibrate to a different level or a different place on your path. So we have a lot of different guides. They're, like I said, they're angels, they're ascended masters, they're people who've crossed. So calling your team, and you can call them in to help you, like I said, with projects. You can call them in to help you gain clarity. You really can call them in for anything that you would like guidance and support around. And like I said, they want to be invited in. I can't iterate that enough. They are here for us and they want to help. And ask for signs. You can ask for signs. So when you ask for signs, like a lot of times, if things aren't kind of moving like I want them to, or I don't know if you can relate to this, or I'll get to where I'm trying to push things instead of having patience for divine timing. And I check in and I'm like, just send me a sign that I'm on the right path. And the other side, a lot of times, will send feathers to show you you're on the right path. And I will find feathers in the oddest places. And anytime I ask for that and I see a feather, I'm just thank you. Thank them when you see a sign. Thank them. And we'll talk more about signs that are typical and that can show up. But it's your job to be aware. Once you've invited them in and you've asked for something or asked for guidance, then it's your job now to be aware because sometimes the guidance can be subtle and it's easy to miss. Now, a lot of times when I'm asking, I ask them for it to be obvious because I miss them a lot. We get busy in our lives and we're not aware or present as we could be. So I ask them to be obvious. They're not always obvious to me, but I ask them to be obvious. And I also ask them to show me a couple times. I ask for 3 times when it's really important and I'm trying to make a decision around something or get an answer for something. So that's to play with that, begin working with them with that. And so our job, their job is to bring them in, and our job is to be aware. So just because we have asked them, we've invited them in, we've asked them for something, don't expect it to be instantaneous. It can be. Sometimes it is. But a lot of times it's important for us to observe. And one of my favorite things is curiosity, is to stay aware and be curious and observe what's going on around you. Where's the energy around you? Because anytime you're looking for guidance and you're wanting to align with your purpose and why you're here and the work that you're here to do, and I know many of the people that I talk to and I work with, they're coming to me because they've hit a point in their life that they're being nudged. And it could come after a death, an illness, they've lost a job or a business. It could be something traumatic, or it's just this nudge that you feel like there's just something more. There's got to be something more for you. You just have this inkling and knowing, but you can't put your finger on it. It's like, you know, it's there. You feel it, but you don't know what it is. So now it's time to begin inviting your guides in to show you more. What is that? Where am I going? And keep an awareness and presence around that and curiosity. Be curious. When things show up that are a little odd, take note. If you see something several times, take note. If I see something once, it's like, okay. If I see it twice, I'm paying attention. And if I see a third time, it's time to take action on it. And that's the other piece is we can't just ask for guidance and then expect it to happen. We also have to help by observing, staying aware, and then when we get the sign, take the next action that's showing up for you. And the way that I do that is I just look for where's the energy right now? Because sometimes things feel like they're on a pause, and they might be on a pause because we don't know, once we've asked for something, we don't know what needs to happen for us to be prepared to receive that. And I'm going to say that again. We don't know what has to happen, what we need to clear, what we need to heal, what circumstances need to come into alignment for us to actually accomplish what we're asking for. And sometimes we don't get what we're asking for, and that's okay because there's something better coming. So play with spirit. So messages come through feelings. They come through your intuition, that gut, if you get a gut feeling or just this knowing. They come through dreams. They come through signs in the physical world. So they can come in a lot of different ways. And one of the ways I see a lot for myself and other people is numbers. When you see 333, 444, 1111, these are numbers that you just, and you'll see them repeating this, the 333. You'll see that come up several times. And just know that's a message for you. That's somebody saying, hey, I'm here. Keep going. You're on the right track. Play with spirit. One of the easiest and fun ways to play with spirit, and I do this all the time, is to call in your parking team. And I really encourage you to play with this. And when I have to go somewhere, it's hard to find a parking place. I just ask ahead of time and then visualize it that please give me a convenient parking place close to where I'm going, make it big enough and easy to get into, is what I ask. And 9 times out of 10 or more, that parking space will be wide open for me. And I'll tell you a little story. I live outside Aspen, Colorado, and I was in Aspen, and the parking there is horrible. It's so hard to find a parking spot. And as I was driving up Valley, about a half an hour outside of 30 miles outside of Aspen, I was driving up there and I'm like, okay, I need a parking spot that's in front of where I'm going. Said all the stuff I just told you. And as I was pulling onto the street where I was going, a car cut me off. And then I had to stop. And then he took the parking space. And I was like, oh, I was so like annoyed that he had taken my parking space. And then I looked to my left and there's an empty parking space. And I was able to back up and get in there. But what it showed me, and this is what we do sometimes, is we get ahead of divine timing. We get ahead of spirit. So it wasn't that he cut me off. It's just I had a better parking spot. And I didn't even see it till that happened. So maybe that happened for a reason. And I just thank them. But I use that all the time. I was in La Jolla, and I do it at the mall. But this other time I was in La Jolla, which is a horrible place to try to find. And the people I was with were like, we're never going to find a parking space. And I'm like, yeah, we will, right up front. And we rounded the corner, and there was a car pulling out right at that time. And we pulled right in. But I always have people play with this because it's easy. The key is, though, you got to believe it. They're going to help you. Because, like I said before, couldn't get it right, but our energy flows where our attention goes. So if our energy isn't in believing and trusting, and it's in doubt, well, there all the energy goes in doubt, and we create that. So we want to be very intentional and aware of what we're asking for and what we're seeing and observing. And like I said, curiosity, I want to go back to curiosity. When we're curious, when we ask questions, we're more observant. Curiosity keeps you out of negative self-talk too. But when you're curious and you're aware and you're looking for what you've asked for, you're looking for a sign, you're looking for what is happening. Versus a lot of times what we get caught up into is we start looking at what isn't happening. And then we start creating more of what isn't happening. And we don't see any of the signs that the other side is sending us. So it's really important to be in this place of curiosity. And for me, curiosity I've always been that very curious kid. Still am. And it's fun. And I love asking questions and just being curious. And when things aren't happening exactly like I expected them to, I get curious. It's like, okay, so what's it showing me? What's going on? What's happening? And I look around at where's the energy. I started to talk about that before. And sometimes we're in that pause, like I said. Other times there's stuff showing up. So that's a really good question. Once you've invited your team in and you're asking for support, ask yourself, what is showing up for you? And whatever's showing up, pay attention to. And then take the next step on that. Take action on that. And then look again, what's showing up? Where's the energy? And this is how you begin working with your guides. And this is when you get into synchronicities. But the other key place, and I touched on this before, is trust. We can't really play with spirit and get the support that is being offered to us fully unless we sit in trust. Now, I'm not going to tell you that's easy. It's not. But when you can really sit in trust, you'll be amazed at how things work out for you. You'll be amazed at the synchronicities that start coming in that you're seeing and how things just kind of get easier. There's more of a flow. And it's not only trusting that your guidance is coming in, it's trusting divine timing. And it's trusting the universe has your back, even when it may not look like it. And I've had a lot of opportunities to sit in this. I have a feeling this was one of my big lessons was trust and to be able to sit and trust. And when you can do this, the guidance just, it gets so much better and your life gets so much easier. And one of the things I look for is when things get hard, when I'm like, this is what I want to create, I can have, I can decide that this is what I want and I can get pushing it uphill. And it begins to feel like I'm pushing something uphill because I'm not paying attention and I just am focused on making this happen. I've got this deadline, I've got to get this done. But what I've learned over time, because I've got smacked a few times pretty hard, is that when things get hard, I stop. I stop and I pay attention and I get curious. Why is it getting hard? And most of the time, when I do that, it's always a great thing. And something else comes in that there was a reason that was getting hard because that was not where I was supposed to be going. And I got off path. I call it I went on a side road and spirit directed me back to my path. Because every now and then we veer off path and they gently guide us back when we're paying attention. And then the more we ignore it, that's when we get the harder smacks to get us back in line. And so if you can pay attention to that, is when things get difficult, when obstacles are kind of coming up and they're getting difficult, take a step back, stop, pay attention, and maybe just put a hold on it for a little bit to see and look around where is the energy actually? Because if it's getting hard, it probably is not where you're supposed to be. So this is some of the ways that spirit will guide you from the other side. And sometimes the signs are really subtle, even if you ask them to be obvious. And I need them to be obvious a lot of times. I'm getting better, I will admit, at catching the subtle because and I make everything a little bit of a game because it makes it more fun for me and then I can pay attention better. And you may be the same way. But when we turn tuning in, when we're on path and we're in alignment and we're being supported and we're paying attention to the signs and we're taking action on those signs, there's this quiet feeling of peace that we get into. And it's not something outside of us, but it's a feeling inside of us. And we're more in our heart. It's quieter and there's a peace to it. And you can have that feeling even in the midst of chaos. If you are sitting in your heart and aligned and listening. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's always love, it's always light. Like I said before, it's never fear. There's never fear coming in. That is coming from other places. It's not coming from the light, the other side. So when you turn into that, you may be feeling a sense of, like I said, that sense of peace. You may see repeating numbers like we talked about. You may hear inner thoughts. And sometimes it's hard to distinguish whether that's your thought or it's coming to you. And when that happens, when I'm asking a question and I get an answer, and I'm not sure if it's me or the other side, I'll ask, is this coming to me or from me? And don't think, don't get in your head, sit in your heart and just ask, is this coming to me or from me? And you'll hear it. You'll hear it to or from. That's what I hear. You may feel a pulling towards or back. You've got to play with it to see how they interact, how your team interacts with you. I tend to hear it kind of back here if it's to me, and it's more front if it's from me, my thoughts. But it's taken me a long time to decipher that. That gut feeling, that intuition that you just know. Like whenever I get a pit in my stomach, I just stop. It's like, okay, what? I have to look around. What is this? Like my gut is screaming, something's off. And a lot of times it's just a sense. It's just a knowing. You just know. Like I'll walk into a place and I'll get a sense and it's just like, I know, we gotta go. I can't be in here. And a lot of us are very sensitive. And if you're an empath, this is just heightened. And it's even more important for you to really know what is yours and what is not yours because you pick up things from everywhere. I pick up what people are thinking, feeling, the energy in a room, and I have to be very clear about staying in with what is mine. And your guides can help you do that. So I want to play with something. Um, I want you to let me back up. Let me talk about synchronicities. When you're aligned and you're looking for and aware of your guidance, you'll be in flow. And that's something that's really like if it can be ease and flow, I know I am on the right track and I am in alignment and on purpose. When there's this ease and flow to it and the synchronicities are just lining up. It's not supposed to be hard. At the beginning of it didn't used to be. And then came into the Industrial Revolution. And we've been in that period, but we've been taught for so long that if it's good, it's got to be hard. You have to work hard. And yes, you have to take action, but it doesn't have to be hard. If you're connected, if you're working with the support from the other side, paying attention and noticing the synchronicities and the signs and the things that are showing up, noticing when things get hard because you veer off a little bit and you come back. There's an ease and flow to what you're doing. It doesn't have to be hard. And I will tell you, when I allow myself to really be connected and trust the universe has my back, trust divine timing, and trust that it'll be shown to me all in order. It aligns and it's beautiful. When I go into doubt, it puts a kink in it all. And the more you get connected, there's really no room to go into doubt anymore. It doesn't serve you. All it does is it delays the timeline because the other side doesn't work within linear time. We can speed it up working with them, or we can slow it down, depending on how much we clear of what's not serving us, how much doubt or fear we get into. So the more we can sit in it and sit in that place of presence and present, which means we're paying attention here. We're here just like we are now, but we also are present. We're bringing all of us to it. It doesn't have to be hard, and it's so beautiful. It's so fun when the synchronicities start showing up. So I want you to play with synchronicities, look for them. Know if it's getting a little hard, just pay attention. All this is about is trust and awareness. And then observe, pay attention, and then take action on what's showing up. That feels good. So when we interact, let's do some interaction. I want to play with noticing signs. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment, and you can stop the recording. And I want you to close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to reflect on something recent, some recent sign that you may have received. Synchronicity, repeating numbers showing up. You thought about somebody and they just called or showed up or you ran into them. Just close your eyes and just think about that for a minute. And then I want you to write it down in your handout. So just go ahead and pause and do that for a minute. Okay, welcome back. I hope that was fun. It's fun to really think about that, and kind of once you start thinking about it, you'll continue to see more. So some of the things, my mom passed away in 2019, right? In November of 2019. And I ask for signs from her a lot. And those who've crossed over can manipulate the magnetic field so they can. My mom likes electricity. So after she passed, both my sister lives in Texas, I live in Colorado. So after she passed, we started here. The fire alarms in our house were just going off at random times during the day. And my sister even called the fire department out to check her fire alarm system, and everything was fine. But I finally was like, okay, Mom, I know you're there. I love you. Thank you. But can we not do this in the middle of the night? And they stopped in the middle of the night. Sometimes she'll turn on the TV, like when I get up, the TV will just come on for no reason. And I'll turn it back off. And sometimes she gets a little ornery and we'll turn it back on and I'll turn it back off. But I always know that's her. Sometimes you'll smell something. You may smell a cologne or a familiar fragrance that brings you to somebody. Like I said before, they love using numbers. It may be feathers. White rocks are things for me. Whenever I walk on a beach, and particularly beaches that have no white rocks on them, I'll ask Spirit that if you're with me to let me find a white rock. And I collect pure white rocks all over the place because that's one of the signs I have with them that they're with me and I ask for. It could be birds. It could be, birds show up a lot for people. Hummingbirds, cardinals. My mom, one of her signs with my sister is a red cardinal that she shows up. brings her is the red cardinal. She'll see books. Um, if things come up more than one or two times, pay attention because that's usually a sign. And you can ask for specific signs that are connected to you and your loved one. And they can connect to you through music. They can connect to you through conversation. You may be thinking about something and then somebody just comes up and starts talking to you about it. There's a lot of different ways that they communicate with you. And when you ask for a sign, it can be unique, but don't make it like crazy challenging. But you'd be amazed what the other side can do and what they can send you. And then when you get a sign, it's really important to thank them. Thank them for the sign. And practice, just play with this, make it fun. Spirit loves to have fun. And I like to play. And I'm thanking them all the time because all the little synchronicities, I just thank them for the signs. I thank them and just send them love. So I want you to close your eyes one more time before we wrap up. And again, since we just mentioned a bunch more signs, I want you to just close your eyes. And I want you to visualize if somebody has crossed over, I want you to visualize them. Or if you want to connect with a guide, I want you just call in your guide. And I want you to ask them to send you a sign. And you can just ask them to send a sign, or you can ask for something specific. And then I want you to thank them at a time, trusting that you know the sign is coming. I want you to just sit in that for a couple minutes, not a couple minutes, couple seconds, not a couple minutes. And you can just pause this video to do this. And then I want you to write it down in your handout. Okay. And then pay attention and be aware. So to wrap this up, and let's summarize this. This really comes down to three important steps. The first step is to invite them in because remember, we have free will and they can't step over free will. They have to be invited in because they honor that we are here with free will and we have to make our own choices. But they can guide us in that direction once we invite them in. And then trust. Trust the guidance is coming. Trust that they are with you. Trust divine timing. And trust the universe has your back. And even though sometimes it doesn't look like it, just hang on because they're there and they're working with you and helping you through it if you invite them in. And once you get through it, you'll be able to look back and say, ah, yeah, that's why. And then curious awareness. Pay attention to what's showing up. Pay attention to the signs. They're easy to miss. The synchronicities. If you glance at the clock and it says 333, just say thank you. That's a sign they're there. And then I'm going to add a fourth. Take action on what is showing up. Take action on what is showing up, and the next step will show up. Because remember, we don't have to know the how. Spirit takes care of the how. We just have to know the what and the why. So I'm adding that fourth action. Take action on what's showing up. So if you would like to take this a little bit deeper and take it more personal to you and unique to you, I have opened up some more intuitive sessions. It's a 1 hour session. It's $250 for one session. And I also offer packages of 3 sessions or 6 sessions, and they're discounted to meet one-on-one. I do these one-on-one, and I'll put the link in the end of this video for you to go to and schedule. And this is unique to you. You can come with any questions, healing challenges that you're facing, or any insights that you're wanting during these intuitive sessions. I would love to help you connect even more, because the more of us that can connect with the other side, that can drop into our heart and get the guidance and the support and create more alignment, ease and flow and love in our lives, the easier it gets for us, and we add that into the collective. So I want to thank you so much for being here with me today. And you've any questions or guidance you may have, I'm here, and you can always shoot me an email, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.